Hello, Tim from Fair Play Now on the 25th of April 2022, and of course one of the biggest items of news currently is the French presidential election, and it looks like that utter despot Macron is back for another 5 years. Unfortunately, I say unfortunately, I don't know much about French politics. Could be that Marine Le Pen would be just as bad, and if she had got in, it would have just been like France jumping in from the frying pan into the fire, that kind of scenario. People do say she's far right, not that that seems to mean a lot these days. I think according to a lot of these people, your average Conservative MP here from just a mere 20, 30, 40 years ago would probably be classified as far right now. I've heard Winston Churchill being classified as far right. Unbelievable, isn't it? So I don't think you can take that term too seriously in this day and age. Although if she is properly far right, i.e. sort of fascist, yeah, that would have probably been like France going from the frying pan into the fire. But it would have just been so nice to have seen Macron getting a kick in at the polls and booted out. And one thing I find mighty suspicious is how these characters just always seem to get back in. And in the space of just the last year, we've had elections where Sturgeon of Scotland has got back in. Same with Drakeford in Wales, Sadiq Khan, London Mayor, Trudeau of Canada, sort of Jacinda Ardern of New Zealand, and now Macron. And just that alone, what's the odds of that? Them all getting back into power, these sort of really horrible despotic leaders putting in all these really draconian measures that are sort of highly unpopular. What is the chance that they've all got back into power? Wouldn't you have expected at least one or two of them to have been sort of elected out? So yeah, suspicious really, isn't it? And I'm not saying that these all these elections are rigged. Who knows? They could be, they might not be. But do you have to even rig elections in that sense these days? When you consider that all the mainstream media are owned by the powers that shouldn't be, and all they've got to do really is just ramp up the narrative for whatever candidate they want to be voted back into power, and Bob's your uncle. And if you don't think that can happen, they can't influence elections, well, we can see that all they've got to do is just ramp up the lurgy narrative, and there we have the majority of the population sort of back in the old muzzles, quick as you like, and being influenced to take various treatments, even though they're sort of largely unproven. So if they can make populations do that, probably making an election go the way they want would be a walk in the park in comparison, I would have thought. So they don't even need to kind of rig elections and sort of fiddle with the ballot papers. They just have to just control the narrative, which sadly they do at the moment. And it just makes you wonder, how long has this been going on? I'm in my late 50s, and has there ever been a fair, properly democratic election, one that hasn't been manipulated by the media? Yeah, you could argue that maybe the Brexit vote and the Trump election, maybe they were, because obviously they both were results that the powers that shouldn't be sort of definitely weren't expecting. So it's not like it goes their way all the time, but it just seems to go their way too much of the time, and to be sort of credible as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, sort of a little bit disappointing. It would have been nice to have seen the whole powers that shouldn't be globalist thing starting to crumble with Macron getting booted out, but that is going to have to be, that catalyst is going to have to come from elsewhere now. So I'll leave it there. Tim from Fair Play Now. Thanks for watching.